Hey, 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 it's Dr. Dawn. Welcome to Mystical Monday. Yay. I am so glad that you guys are here with me tonight because we have such a wonderful show planned for you. I have a wonderful, wonderful guest who's here with me tonight. But before I let her come in, I want to talk to all of the new people who are here for the first time and you have not ever experienced a Mystical Monday live. So I am the host. My name is Dr. Dawn. I am an intuitive guide and spiritual messenger. And so what that means is I am the go-between between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. I am the one in the middle relaying messages from spirit, the spiritual realm, to the collective. And so on Monday nights, I operate as a conduit between the spiritual realm and the physical realm, delivering mystical information to the collective, according to what's going on in the energy and frequency on the planet at that time. But lately, I have opened up my platform to include some guests. Guests who cover various different topics as it relates to the ascension and a spiritual awakening process. And they've added like a wealth of information on top of what I provide here on my platform on Monday nights. So I know that you're going to enjoy tonight's guest. I'm going to let people come in the room. You guys are coming in slowly but surely, because I want to make sure everybody gets in here in enough time to check her out. You guys always come on time. Yay, yay. 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday. Yes, every Monday. Unless I decide to take the day off, because I do that sometimes. Sometimes I don't want to be on live. And so I take the day off, but I haven't done that lately because I've had so many wonderful guests lined up to come and talk to you guys. So before we get going, I want to make sure everything's working. Everybody can hear me. All of you guys who are in the chat, as you come into the chat, if you could, just let me know if you can hear me, because I've been having some technical difficulties the last 2 Mondays. And so I want to make sure everything's working pretty good tonight. Hello, I see you in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you. I take it you can hear me. If you're in the chat saying hello, that must mean that you can hear me. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, so I will know we are good to go. Happy Monday to you too. Happy Monday to you too. Okay, let's see. Everybody's coming in. This is one of the wonderful things I like about Monday nights. Hello, is that you guys get to come on live and you get to ask questions and comment and be a part of the discussion. That's the fun part that I like about this. It's very interactive. You guys, if you know the rules, if you feel as if you want to make a comment or ask a question, just jump right in while we are going through tonight's broadcast, and you can get your questions answered, immediately on the spot from our guest, Natalie, or myself. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So you guys can hear me well. Wonderful. Okay. So I am going to bring Miss Natalie in. I'm going to reintroduce her when she comes in the room. But just so you guys know, her name is Natalie Nadine. And we love to have Natalie. So let's get her in this room. Here she comes.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Natalie. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Let me get myself up there with you. Make sure I'm got you in there. There we go. Okay. I wanted to see you and you see me and all that good stuff. All right. So I'm going to reintroduce you. I kind of talked about you a little bit before you came, but now I'm going to give you your kudos while you're here. So this is Natalie Nadine. She is a light language activator. She's a healer. She's an astral traveler. She's a channeler. She's like all of that and then some. If you aren't familiar with those terms, we will touch on those tonight and give you a little bit more clarity. Most of you are familiar with light language and well, channeling. I'm sorry, most of you are familiar with channeling, and so this is kind of like, well, it is, but she's going to kind of explain the nuances of it. Everybody's saying hello, hi, Natalie. So can you guys hear Natalie okay? Because last week I had some technical difficulties. I want to make sure everything's good. They can hear me. I want to make sure they can hear you. Say something, Natalie.
Hi guys, can you hear me all right? Does this seem okay?
Okay, let's
Decent
see.
level?
You sound better than me, so I know they can hear you. Yours sounds excellent. She's got
Oh,
that
good.
good equipment.
Good. That's amazing. I'm just pulling up the chat so that I
Oh,
can
okay, so you can
get
see
a
it.
lot. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay, awesome.
So, hi, Patricia. So look, I know they're like, oh, she's on time today. Like it's 6:07. It's usually 6:15. So just the stragglers are going to come. So just be mindful of that. Okay, so I'm going to assume everybody can hear you because they're not complaining. Oh, they said they can hear us well. Okay,
Okay.
let's
Okay,
get
good.
moving. So one of the titles I called you was a light language activator. What is a
Yeah.
light language activator?
I also want to add in before we get started that sometimes as we talk about things that have energy connected to them, it triggers my light language to come out.
Mm.
And so that is just because my DNA is active. It's used to being near energy. And if there's work that has to be done, the language comes out. And so um, it's just part and parcel of who I am. So same thing happens when I go to grocery stores or about my day-to-day activities. I get a different language come out. And off we go.
So we've been forewarned. You guys know. I mean, if they're kind of used to this with me, but not like she's gonna do it. I mean, sometimes I'll be midstream and I'll go, wait a minute, somebody's on this live who, and then I'll go into that. But hers is gonna be a little different, totally different. If she feels the need to express herself. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into light language activation.
Okay.
Okay, so how would you define it? Like, what's an easy way to define it?
Yeah, light language. Are you talking about just the activation part? Or are you talking
Yeah,
about
like the activation part. What does it entail? Let's just do it that way.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So typically what I have experienced with the activations is it's a bit like it happens when you need it. So it's a bit like a parachute. If you were to jump out of a plane, you would pull a cord and your parachute would open. So
Mm.
it's the same type of thing. So you typically don't just say, wake up in the morning and say, I really want to talk a light language. I want to embrace it and I want to have it and I want to just feel it. No, that's not how it happens. It's usually when you need it, it will come to you. So there's a lot of people in this intuitive space, in this spiritual space that don't have their light language activated yet. And it isn't because they haven't reached a certain level. It's nothing to do with that. It's just genuinely because they don't need it yet. And
Mm.
so it's the reason I was activated and needed mine was because I do a lot of work in the Egyptian timeline. And when I work in the Egyptian timeline, I use my energy. So I use my hands, I move things, I like resize things, I open things, I touch things. And when you touch things, I culminate. So it comes out with energy. So that's what happens.
I see. So would you say that light language activation is ultimately part of the ascension process? Like if we had to place it in terms of not levels, I hate to say levels, but well, it kind of is levels of awareness, right? Would you say it's part of it? Like at some point we all have to get to the point where we activate our light language?
Think, yeah, the light language bypasses our thinking piece and it
Yeah.
speaks to our soul. And so when we start ascending, we don't necessarily need it yet because we're not healing or moving that energy. So when we start waking to that level where we're like, wow, and some people just wake right into that level and are like, I had to touch this and then this language came over me and I don't know what happened. So, but there are other people that they do typically kind of go through activating their DNA strands, like working in this space where they're using their frequency. And then that's when an activation will happen. Usually, an activation takes place when you touch something or energy is near you, or you have to use your energy. And a lot of
Mm.
times that comes through when I take clients through to Egypt. I'll have a client and they'll say it'll just bring a memory up for them. Just being near my energy brings up a memory for them. And they'll tell me like, I had this thing about Egypt, and right away we like drop right in, because one of my gifts is to be able to see. So as people talk about things, I will go into um the scene of like wherever it is that they're describing. And so we'll do a lot of Egyptian stuff where we go into different pyramids and we access different things. And there's a lot of gems and rocks and crystals that we end up touching to access different parts of the temples. And so it's literally going through the temples and touching different things. And I'll often tell them to just get their throat chakra open, like just do a hum or a noise, just get it something moving in there, and then we can start to hear that language coming through.
Now, for all of you who are wondering, I have a video that I'm going to play so you can kind of get an idea of what she's describing for those of you
Mm,
who are going, I wonder what that is. I'm not going to play that yet, but I just want to let you guys know that that is coming, because I know
mhm,
somebody's probably going to ask something like that. So you touched on, like with you, when you're with your clients and when they bring up Egypt, what exactly is light language used for? So if I was coming to you, if I was coming to you as a client, what
mm,
what are you trying to assist me with that requires you to do the light language?
mm. Yeah. So often, like as a client, if you were coming in and you were like, look, I want to have my light language activated. How do I do that? There is different steps and stages in that. So sometimes it is pulling out, depending on where you are and things. The first step is light. You have to have lightness inside your body. So you have to
Yeah.
clear through your nervous system. You have to clear through your density. So you have to do your shadow work. So it just means anything that throughout the day kind of triggers you, you're like, wow, let me think about why that triggered me, what that situation was. Is it a my issue? Is it a their issue? Is it like, what was it? Like just being really being able to reflect and be aware, because we want to start to integrate. So it's like integrating all the experiences so we can start shaving them off, so that when we can pull them up, shine light on them, would look at them like, it's no big deal. Like really in the light, it doesn't look like any massive thing. I think I overreacted, or well, that brought up a big feeling like for this little itty bitty thing. And so then you can go back and look at that. And then that's when we can start lifting out what we call density, because we've done the shadow work. We've done these examining of all these kind of like triggers. And then we get to a place where everything's like, meh, whatever. I don't really care.
That's,
It's whatever.
you touched on what I was going for, because I, actually, since I put advertised on my social media that you were coming on, I had two people gave me questions like, consider yourself honored. I've never gotten questions before the show, like for people who weren't going to be on, but they wanted to ask this question. And so you touched on it. I had one person, I'm going to read it. She says, she goes, I feel like I've been doing shadow work forever, and it's something in me that just won't let me clear. I keep feeling blocked. Is light work or light activation, light code activation, a replacement for ongoing shadow work? Like, can I get activated to clear my shadow? So she's trying to, do you see
Mm,
what she's saying?
yeah,
She's
yeah.
like trying to get out of like the shadow work,
Bypassing.
like she's like, can I
No.
do this? And then it'll clear up my shadows. You see?
Yeah, yeah. No. That's bypassing. You have to go through the steps. And so the reason we have to go through the steps is because we clear it. And when we clear it, we lift out and we sort of like make room for. So think about it like this. I'll use an analogy. So if you are like wanting a new wardrobe, like you're just like, my clothes that I have are amazing, but I think I want to like a new style here. Like I want to like upgrade a few things. You have to like make room. You can't just like add more stuff to your house, right? You have to like make room. You clear out your cupboards, you put them in the like bag to go to the donation bin, and then like you now have room to put in the new stuff that you're about to purchase.
Makes
So
sense.
the same thing is here with shadow work. You want to upgrade, you're like want to add a few things, a new skills or expand your skills or gifts or whatever. So you're gonna like lift out a bunch of stuff you no longer really want to wear, or it doesn't really serve you anymore, or like you just don't want to like align yourself with. So you're
Mhm.
just gonna lift that stuff out and you're gonna like take it away out to the donation bin. And then you want to like go ahead and bring in fragments and soul chunks and DNA and blueprint, and that all is going to hold and house the gifts that you do want. So
Mm.
that's how it works.
She's so good. Let me tell you guys, I had a pre-conversation with her before this. She is so good at analogies. Like I am awful at those, but she'll give you a good analogy to like tie it all together, like on the spot, on the spot. We love that about you, Natalie. We love it. Winter says this is interesting. Mega a says the present moment is always perfect and there has never been anything but the present moment. Okay.
Mm.
Absolutely. Thank you. Let me bring up this other person's question, since I think this will still be along the lines of where we are in the conversation.
So
So,
hold on a second. Hold on
okay.
a second. So there was a second part to that other question. And the second part was like, am I blocked? Am I not doing something? Like,
Oh,
how
yeah,
can
yeah,
I
yeah,
get
yeah,
rid?
yeah.
So that happens when you sort out all the stuff from your cupboards and you're like, I'm about to go put this in black bags and take it to the like, donation bin, but you like leave it in your car and it doesn't ever get dropped off. And that's where things get stuck. So you don't actually integrate is what it's called. So you
Okay.
do all the shadow work and you like can identify all of your triggers and you know what they are and you're like, yep, I've lifted them out, but you don't like apply it to your day-to-day living. You don't like pull in the pieces that you need to pull in. And often all that requires in that to be able to do that is breath work. So you just meditate on it. So you just sit in the morning or at nighttime. I often will have a bath with Epsom salt in the evening time. And I will like visualize letting go of whatever I no longer serves me and bringing in the new color for new, whatever. You can pick whatever color. Sometimes it's assigned to you and you just see the color. Other times, like you're going to pick a color of like pink or whatever. And you're like, this is the feelings I want to embody. I want to embody like security and confidence and like, I got this and nothing's bothering me. And you're going to breathe that in. And then when you breathe out, you're going to breathe out. Usually it looks like, I don't know, smoke. Like mine always looks like, it looks like what you would see coming out of a factory. You just breathe that out and then you breathe in the pink to align with the direction you want to go. And your light body should actually be filling up with the pink color, the color that you want. And as you exhale the color you no longer serves you, you'll have more space to bring in the pink. And I usually just put myself in a little bubble, just like the kids blow bubbles. You're gonna put your like just sit and relax and pull up your light body and look at it. And that's when you like do the breath work. Breathe in the color you want to be more of and out the color you don't want to be. Until you hold that color, your light body actually will turn that color. And then you're like, okay, good. I integrated the stuff. I removed the old stuff, integrated the new stuff.
So it's having an awareness of the blockages themselves, like you're aware of what they are, what caused them, what triggered you. And then it's doing something in that moment, specifically kind of formulated to kind of pull you through and
Hmm.
get you through that moment so that block doesn't sit there. It
Hmm.
moves on its way.
Exactly.
Absolutely. See, I told you she's good with the analogies. I was visualizing the whole in the bathtub with the color, with the bubble, with the like very good visualization
Good.
techniques to use to get through that beyond just breathing. Those visualizations are awesome. Awesome.
Thank
Um, okay, now you made me forget my question. Let me see. Let me look on the sheet.
you.
What was the question? So Nadine, so Cassandra 346, Cassie 346. She says, heard and read about light language. Don't feel as if I may ever get to that point. However, is there a way to know if you're ready? I don't know. I think That's what she wrote. She just said, how do you know if you're ready? She said, I don't feel as if I will ever need it. But she goes, how do you know if you need it?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is. I always just, we believe in the signs and synchronicities. We know when we're being shown something, led to something, or is brought to us for our awareness, but it has to resonate. You have to say, oh, like, I feel like this is like, I just look for resonation. I mean, I know that's kind of simplistic, but I don't know any other way to, say whether if you need it or not. I mean, what do you think? I mean, well, let's back up. With your story of how you kind of got into like Kodak, how did you know, like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do? This is it. Let's do it that way.
Yeah. For me, they just kicked me in the deep end. They were like, swim, can you swim? You're asking me after you kicked me in, like, should ask me before it kicked me in the deep end and say swim. So what they ended up doing was I was
Okay, now
working
clarify
with
who
a
you mean by
client.
they, because they're going to say, who is she talking about? Who is they?
Who's they? They. A spirit. Spirit just was all like, whenever I say they, it's always spirit, source, guide, whatever.
Okay.
They they came along and they were like, I had no idea what was going on. So for me, I was laying in bed one morning and my client sent me a message and I was listening to the message and she was like, I'm connected with this angel called Sophia, and Sophia is speaking through me, and she's saying, I need to record it and send it to you. And
Mm.
she's like, so I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, okay, cool. So I listened to the next clip and it is like straight gibberish. And I was like, what is going on? I remember being like, I don't know, I was distracted kind of, and I was listening to this in the background, and all of a sudden my head just was like ping, and I was like ping. I was like wide, like and attentive. And I was like, what is going on right now? And I could hear it and hear it. And I was like, something's happening to my brain right now. And then all of a sudden there was this like pop. And I was like, I was like just shivered. And I was like, what is going on? I was just shaking and shivering. And I'm like, that's intense. What was that? So I messaged her like, wow, what was that? And she was like, I don't know. That just came out of me. I've never had that happen to me. I don't know what's going on. And so her and I were both sort of like, what is going on? Who is this Sophia Angel lady? And what is going on? So we did later realize that Sophia isn't her incarnated self, her higher self, I guess.
Oh,
And her and I had been sisters at one time. And so she was just coming back to remind me of like my role as my starseed self, like to help others and to like step into my role. And from then on, things just got stranger and stranger. I mean, I had cravings for like West Indian Caribbean food, which is like not usually my go-to.
mhm.
And I was like, what's really weird? So I like hunted down this like closest Caribbean restaurant and I went to go pick up my food. And when I went to pick up my food, it wasn't ready. And I was like, what's taking so long? So I turned and looked back at my car, and my car is parked in front of the spiritual store with like gems and rocks and tarot cards. And I was like,
Oh,
y'all
wow.
are funny. Y'all are funny. Like, this is what you're talking about, these synchronicities and this like stuff that resonates. I just knew it. You brought me down here. You turned that craving way up and you brought me down here. What's next? And I walked into the store, and before I even got to the store, I was like shivery and had the tingles, and I was like, something's going on in this store. It's crazy. But and it was so good. Like, but that was where my light language started like coming through, and I got close to different things. And when things are activated, there for me anyway, it's always like cranked wide open, and then I have to be like, okay, can we turn this down? Like, I can hear you, you're very loud. Like, you're very close, like, shh, just bring it down a little bit. And so when I was light languaging, like my whole body would twitch, my face would twitch. I still get a lot of like twitches, like I look like I have Tourette's sometimes because the energy is so intense.
Yeah.
um but yeah, that was my experience when it first activated was
Well, yeah, all that
somebody.
you kind of know, like, okay, I'm supposed to maybe step into this in some way, shape, or form. That I mean, I I got to show everybody the video because I know you described it and you're talking about it. I know they're like, just play the video so we can see it. So I'm going to play the video. You guys, it's about almost 4 minutes long. I'm going to play it for you. I think you'll be okay watching it. I may speed it up a little bit, but I want to make sure you see the end result as well, between her and her client. You want to set it up first before they see it. So you guys I'm going to show you a video. She's going to tell you a little bit about it before I click play.
Yeah. So I have individual sessions. This lady found me, booked a session. I'm in session, never met her in my life. We're like chatting backwards and forwards. She's like, I have this memory of Egypt. And I was like, I see the Sphinx. Like, I don't know what's going on, but we got to go like check this out. So we go in and I could feel this energy in there. And I'm like, I guided her. I'm like, we are in a room, you are gonna have to like feel all around. And so I'm like, in the clip, you'll see I'm like looking around because I'm in the room of like in the Sphinx. And I'm like, you're gonna have to put your hand all around the wall because you're gonna energetically activate it with your hand. So as you walk around, keep like walking until you feel like the energy come through your hand. I'm like, I'm going to be walking too, because it's going to take both of us to do this. And so she's like, okay, so we do this. And then I find my spot. She finds her spot. I had told her, like, I think you at this point, you're going to have an activation. So you are just going to have to like move your throat chakra, like just make any noise and like, there's no wrong noise. Just do whatever you're feeling you need to do. And so, yeah, and I use my language because I have an energy spot on the wall, and that energy triggers my language. And then you'll hear in the video where I'm like like communicating with her, like, and reassuring her, like telling her, come on, come on, come on, it's okay, it's okay. It's like in my language, that's what it's saying. And then she just sort of like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of giving birth. You have to kind of surrender because your body's doing it and you're like, I have no control over what's happening. And then you can see that in her as she like goes through the process, and then all of a sudden is like, it takes her, the energy takes her.
I'm going to give you guys a little spoiler. She's like in the park, in a public place too, like doing this. So watch her in this public park, like as this goes, takes place. Hold on, you guys. Let me get it. Okay, here we go. Ooh. Okay, so where her hand is right now. You feel there? You can move to a different spot if you want to move. I'm a little scared, but then I'm thinking, you're ready. You're ready. You're ready. I'm right here with you. Oh, what happened? Oh, there we go. I don't know why why is it stopping? Oh, no, 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 no. We don't want the beginning. Wait, wait, wait. Oh, no, that's not the beginning. That's not the beginning.
Yeah, I think the stuff that I'm doing in this part right here is just supporting her as she's like mm, just feeling all this energy come through. Um, and I think we can't hear what she was saying because it was so high pitched. The Zoom won't pick it up when it's so high
Oh, okay.
pitched.
Oh, that because I'm like, I heard it earlier. Like a beautiful priestess. Yes. It's such a beautiful moment.
Yeah, the
Okay.
energy was so high in that one.
Yeah, because I'm like, I know I played it earlier and I could hear it, like it just went out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so look, you guys are literally reduced to tears, both of you.
Mm,
Literally, you know, I remember asking you, I'm like, now, is she listening to you or is she listening to frequencies or like, what is she? Because she just like, woo, just like burst out into like her, like doing her thing.
yeah.
And so it literally, I was just like, well, is Natalie talking to her? Is she hearing that? But at that point, though, I think she was in it. She was pretty much hearing and
Mhm.
connected.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a result of this session, and her, I'm going to say her activation,
Yeah.
I mean, did you see her after this, like follow up, like where is she? Do you, oh, you don't know in her I was just wondering, as a result of that activation, like what has, it changed so much. It changed in her life,
Mm.
versus but prior to it. But you don't even have to have seen a follow-up, even after your session. I know the video cut off, but did she talk to you a little bit about
Mm.
what she was experiencing and feeling?
Yeah, she wrote me a really beautiful email afterwards
Oh,
and was like, it was incredible. I've never felt anything like that. So she's an intuitive worker. She does healing. She has her own practice. She does like frequency work. It does like a bit like Reiki. Um, and so it was just time, like it needed to be activated so she could serve more of her clients. Because when we have gifts activated, they're not for us, they're for us to do something with to help others. And so I think that it's also sometimes the misconception, like, oh, it's so great that you have that gift activated. You could like clear yourself and clear all, and then like, no, it's not for me. We do get to use them, but it's for a purpose of something else that's connected to somebody else.
that is very
Um,
important. That is very important to know. Very
mhm,
important.
yeah.
Marta says, was this an energy release from the past, or did she need to go back there to activate? That's a good question.
Yeah, she had, before we could go into that Egyptian timeline spot, we did have to do some clearing for her. So she had a few other situations that came up in the session, and one of them was around a close friendship that she had, and she wanted to clear it because she's like, I, I, I want them to be my friend, but I want there to be a really clear boundary. I don't want there to be this like muddling of like blurring of anything. Like I just wanted to be a clear, you're my friend, and that's it. So
Mm.
we went in and we cleared um, it was like a Palladian life. It was really a bizarre one where she was on a ship and she was working with an engineer, and she would sit in the ship and she would communicate the work that needed to be done. And there was this close bond that was created because of how intricate the work was. And so, yeah, I just realized too that my dad and I have the same thing. Um, but you end up with these different clearings that have to kind of come forward, and different memories. It's a bit like an onion. So you just, as you peel one, you're like, oh, look what's under. It's like actually another one. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, she cleared that one. And I think there was a couple other little things that we had to do for clearing stuff. And then she was like, oh, by the way, I have this memory of Egypt. That just kind of was her next thing, because she didn't come in thinking like, I'm gonna have a light activation and I'm gonna be like so much service of my clients. And she
Yeah.
was just like, take me wherever I need to go. Um, and which was beautiful.
And you mentioned like gibberish, like you initially when you first heard it prior to you being aware and activated, it sounded like gibberish to my people in the chat. You guys, it was very noticeable that that wasn't gibberish, right? You guys could distinguish that there was an actual language being spoken. You may not have been able to maybe connect with what was saying, but I could feel it energetically, what she was going through and what was happening. And so I'm glad we had the video, because the gibberish thing, and the other thing, this is noticeably different, you guys in the chat, from speaking in tongues, because people
Mm,
always say, is it the same thing as speaking in tongues? Very different, correct? Very, very different in not just the outcome, but the whole
mhm.
nuance of it, right?
Yeah, for me, like I don't know much about speaking in tongues because not like I didn't grow up in a church. I didn't have much to do with religion. I
Right.
just know that it's from our DNA. This is something that I didn't see Jesus or some other person that we would typically associate as somebody that we would see or hear about in a Bible. We This was something that like, well, I guess there's angels that they're talked about in the Bible. So for me, it was an angel, a message that spoke through another individual that activated mine. Um, there's when I do activations, it is usually the ones I've done have been around Egypt. Um, so it's different in the sense that this comes through your own blueprint. So
Mm.
everybody's light language is unique to them. So when other people that I work with, so I have like my core soul family that where I work with, and when they speak, I can like it triggers my DNA and my language speaks back to them. I have no idea what it says. I
Mm.
have like there's nothing that I can um like word, there's no defined words like how in English we have like the dictionary and we have defined words. And this is not that. There's times where I know different phrases, and the different phrases I'm like, oh, this is what is meant. And they're like terms of endearment. So as I end off my transmission, I'll always end it in the same unique way with the same hand movement and the same like phrase. And I'll be like, it's always like saying, like, thank you, my love, or thanks, dear, or whatever. Um,
Mm.
and I couldn't repeat the same thing even if I tried. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
that word that I say that ends and all the people that work with me know like that's my language. That's how I
Yeah.
speak. So yeah, it's unique to you because your DNA houses that language, that soul speak.
Yeah, and the thing that stands out to me that makes it so different from the whole speaking in tongues concept, I just feel like this is based in frequency. This is noise
Hmm.
frequency. Like speaking in tongues has nothing to do with frequency at all. Like it
Hmm.
just that's not it. But when you did that session just that we watched on the video, you could tell it was frequency based. It was DNA based. It was just different. It's just a
Hmm.
different type of feel and energy to it. So I'm
Absolutely.
glad we had the video because you could
Yes.
actually experience it. Because otherwise, I think people's imagination of what it could be or is like is very scary for a lot of people. It's
Yeah.
very scary. And a lot of people think it's invasive, or what are they doing to me when they activate me? Are they, corrupting my DNA? Like that's what I hear a lot. Is the DNA being corrupted? And what is happening? And kind of before it got to where I am in my awareness, I too thought that initially. I'm like, what is this light code stuff? Like what? Like if you learn about this in the very beginning, if you see this in the no, you'll say, I'm not doing that spiritual stuff. Like, that's part of our conditioning and those layers you got to kind of peel back and heal through, so to speak, to get to that point of awareness. You guys are quiet in the chat tonight. Why are you so quiet? I just knew you guys were going to be asking Natalie questions like all throughout this program. Everybody's quiet. Everybody's still. I think
They're
because
listening.
I think so, because you guys help me out in the chat. Light code activation, we hear about it, but again, collectively, we're moving in the frequency and we're getting comfortable now talking about certain things as it relates to spiritual concepts. I mean, we're just now on the point where tarot card readers could be like a big thing on YouTube. Like they're killing it. They are killing it on YouTube, tarot card readers. Like they have all the subscribers, all the views, all the everything. And I think it's like a gradual progression. Like when you get to this kind of information, it's not sparse because it's out there too. But as I mentioned to you before, when I was telling you how I've always wanted to have somebody on here in this area, but you got either the mega people that you see all the time, like the prominent people who are doing it, or it's just no in between or something when it comes to this area right now.
Okay. So hold on a second.
Yeah.
So there is a new question that came up, and that has a lot of energy involved in it.
Is this similar to quantum healing? Oh, I think she'll love answering that one. We hit it, Natalie.
It just has so much energy to it. So this one is we use our light language for quantum healing. Yes. So so I think this is actually not about the question. This is actually about the viewer. And so this is about um what happens is when I have these interactions, my energy connects with their energy. And so their light body wants to come forward for that healing purpose or for that transmission. But there's a whole like system, core piece inside. It looks like the top 3 or 4 chakras. And it looks like a capsule. And it just wants me to like put energy into that. Sometimes it just is just light language healing, and it's exactly it. The question pretty much is that, like, is this similar to the quantum healing? And my light language addresses it. So there's different frequencies I use in my light language. Some of them are a deep tone that tells your DNA how to restructure itself, like in a way to address it for you. You can always tell if this is not the trite transmission, because you'll be like, oh my gosh, what is that terrible noise? I need to like turn it off or move away from it. I see that in my kids sometimes because I do all this work often. My kids are exposed to it. And if it's something they should not be exposed to, they will actually cover their ears and like, ah, and they'll like run to another room, or they will interrupt me and start making a bunch of crazy noise. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Shush, I'm listening to something. They're like, they were like, oh my gosh, I got to turn this off because my kid's crazy right now. But that's all divine. They're not supposed to listen to it. So that's like what you were just talking about. Like if it is something that is going to corrupt or who's going to who's going to transmit and what are they going to do to me? Nothing can be done to you without your consent. If it sounds crazy and you're like, oh my gosh, what is this crazy noise? I have to turn it off. There's a reason. You're just not ready for it yet. It's just not the right time. Something else might need to happen first and then this. But yeah, I want to go back to the quantum healing part. So I'm just gonna, if you're okay with that, I'm just gonna do a little thing. Are you okay with that?
We love it. We welcome it. Do your thing.
Okay.
Do your thing.
So it's just clearing chakras. It's balancing them out. So it's telling it you gotta shine. Right. So I did that top one. This is the next one here. So my hand movement is all energy. I'm feeling the energy, feeling the chakra to see if it's like too dense, something needs pulling out. But that's not me moving it. That's just the work, the frequency coming through me. Shoya kaya te ya kaya noya kaya. So this one, I'm commanding it to do something different. Shoya kaya na 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 na. Pulling out stuff, telling it to come. Na 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 na. Shum kaya na ya kaya. Noya kite. Foya naya kai yananai go koya nai. There's a piece right here that's I don't even know what it is. It's just like a hard chunk. It's breaking it up. So I can feel it now. It's broken. Pulling out. It's shining now. Shayanayo no moya kaya tai noit. Kaya kumanite. Like the kumanite is like, come on now, shumanite. Okay, and so now you have this other one that's in my bottom hand is your bottom. Is this sacrum? It's root. So one right before, right above. Tukadaya kanaya kunoya kite. Naya 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 kumoya day naya kyoto kumanaya kai chi noya kai kaya te night. There is like it's not connected to like an energy source. So this one is the opposite hand. I was moving this because all the chakras are shining out this way for me, and this one is like a blocked one from the back. And that usually means like the light shines in on this side and it shines outward on like the other side. So this one is not connected to the energy source that's there. Tikadai kukumonai akai tikikiti kikikomoyete sayanaya koyate night koishanai shinanai kumonai shayanaya kite. So I'm just telling it basically you got to behave yourself. Nananaya kaya tikikio noyakanai kipukokoyanaya kai soya Nayakayate moit. So the energy is going to come through. I'm just telling it how it needs to come through. So when I tell it like it's telling it whereabouts, like which level or which frequency it needs to come in at to be able to light this up. All right, here it comes. Now it's going to come out the front. Joyanai. So nothing is blocking it, but there's no chunks to break up. I can see the light coming in from the back. And now it's just going to shine. So it's all open energy all this way. So now I'm just going to like tell it, just do your thing, just shine. Wait. That's it.
Oh, now look, you were picking out this person that's on in the chat, but you were kind of working on all of us because I was like, okay, now it's moving from here. Now it's here. Now I'm feeling it here. Then I was like, okay, she's doing all of us now, kind of. We're all kind of joined into this, even though you felt it for that person in the chat. And although you were talking through, kind of saying what you were doing and what was happening, I don't know if I knew exactly what you were doing, but I knew kind of the areas it felt like that you were hitting as it related to the chakras. And you even started to say, I think you said root, and then you said solar plexus. You started kind of talking it through a little bit, but you could kind of feel you moving along as you went. You in the chat, Oneness says this is way too synchronistic. He says, OMG. Now Ajna, okay, are you speaking to us in light language? Is that what you're doing, Oneness? Because I don't know what that word means. I don't know what that word means.
Yeah.
maybe some light language, maybe. Yeah, but Marta, I think you're the one she initially connected with. Did you feel anything from that, what she was doing? Because she felt very connected to your question, your energy, to you.
Mhm.
Actually, she's been asking a lot of questions as well. He says
Mm,
reciprocation. Oh, okay. You're reciprocating
uh,
it back to her. Wonderful, wonderful.
uh,
I was hoping you did that. Thank you, Spirit, because I was thinking I
yeah.
didn't want to just put you on the spot and say, you know what? Could you like look? I didn't even have to do that, you all. She is led by service. When called, she'll do it.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
a
I could
third,
feel it. I could feel it was like there was energy coming up through me and I was like, this is somebody. This isn't just a question. But I will always, we actually, you and I talked about this before getting on this. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, you will be led. And often it is for that one person. And it is like that, it's life changing for that one individual that's supposed to show up and supposed to be here and supposed to be, I don't know if it's Marta, like, that was one person is typically connected to the collective. So when
yeah.
I work on the collective, I will pull up one person and I'll work on that one person, which will clear it for the collective. Um,
And let me touch on that since you brought that up, because you're a grid worker too. Like you'll do some work. You guys understand what that means when I say grid worker, because we're all operating and functioning on the grid. Like
mhm,
she's the one behind the scenes that you don't know about that's doing some energy work for all of us.
mhm.
You can tell us a little bit about that grid work.
Yeah, so grid work, you were just called to do it.
Yeah.
And it can be a little bit or it can be a lot. So basically, like there's the earth and we call it like Gaia. So um there is like an energetic blanket around the earth. And there's times where that energetic blanket, we can feel it and we're like, oh, it feels really good and expands outwards and there's lots of good energy around it. And then other times there's like a flat spot, a spot where you're like, if you think of a magnet, like when you run a magnet and then all of a sudden there's a spot there, it doesn't stick, and you're like, what's going on with this like one little spot that's not sticky there? Um, and then you're like, well, it's like a dead zone or something. You like I can go in and I can like visualize it and see it like there, everything else is light and there's like this one spot that's got this dark spot, and I'll put my hand over it and be like, this doesn't there's no sticky, there's no magnetic feedback from that. And so then I'll ask like, what am I supposed to do to this? Sometimes it's just hold my energy on it and like light it up. Sometimes it's like pull my energy through me and push it down through the whole energetic blanket. Other times it's like I just have to put my hand on it and light language it. Other times it's different beings that will show up and they'll hold light, and then I kind of like pull that light from them into this. It's called the
Mm.
grid, but like that energetic blanket. Other times we're taking a hot spot that's like too bright, too much energy, and we're taking that and pulling it through. They're called ley lines, which are like these energetic lines that go through the earth. And so we'll take the energy from above and like pull it, and we call it anchoring. Well, we'll do this like movement and we'll pull all this energy in and anchor it down into those ley lines and light those up. So yeah, it's a lot of work.
Literally, you guys understand energy work does not require you to be physically in any place to do
Mm-mm.
it. She can sit right where she's sitting right there and do energy and grid work for the entire planet, like just right there where she is.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody says we are cosmic and coders. We're cosmic and coders.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Okay, I'm winding down with Natalie, you guys. Look at you, Jasani. I made it. You made it an hour too late. Like you need class was in session an hour ago. What are you doing? You got to watch the replay now. You got to watch the replay. Um, how to I think we covered it a little bit, but I just want to let other people know who may feel like, hey, I was supposed to see this video. Like, I'm supposed to do what she's doing. Like, how would they start, or what would you suggest that they say or do to, like, maybe get the look? Yes, thank you. Martha says she was laying down, listening, and felt energy and heat, especially in her neck.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, she has, that's not it. Wait, let's finish reading Martha. Then towards the end, she started laughing and felt joy and peace. When I moved while laughing, my upper back cracked, which is interesting. You said the energy was coming from the back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Martha, you showed up on the right day, honey, the right day.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
You had an energy block, girl.
That is beautiful. Girl, you got it free too. Look, you got it free, Martha. Look how spirit looked out for you. That is wonderful, wonderful. This is she's the real deal. Because let me tell you, when you're of service, she literally said, hey, do you mind somebody on here? She didn't have to do that. She could have done like a lot of people say, okay, here's my information, here's my website. If you want, she could have done that. She could have did that whole spiel, but she said, nope, I'm in the moment. I'm here for a reason. Somebody needs it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. That's when you know, you guys, that she's giving you heart. They're giving you hearts. That's when you know somebody is the real deal. Right there, right there. I thank Spirit so much for leading me to her, just because I knew she's the real deal. I started asking you, so if somebody feels like, oh, I think I'm supposed to do what she does, or I would like, what would you say to them to how to start? Maybe would you say channeling? How to start channeling? Would that be what they would? No, that's not it, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you just led. You just led.
That's
You
what I'm
just
saying.
know. You just know. Like they are the craziest things, and you just gotta like follow that. Like my West Indian story, like go eat something, and you're like, why am I going to eat this? This is crazy. Like you follow the breadcrumbs until you get there, and you don't question it, because a lot of times we want all the answers. We want to know, like, why am I doing this? Why am I supposed to be at this or that or the other? Like we're human, so we like safe. We would like to survive. We want to know why, and then we want to know why so we can prepare. And then we want to get all prepared. And we're taught this from an early age. When you get a class, bring all the things you're going to need, because you have to show up prepared. So it's the same thing in spirituality. When you start like awakening, you want that old programming, because it has kept you safe, has kept you alive, and you want to bring it with you, but it doesn't really apply to spirituality. And here we have to remove all that old programming and be like, I trust in this. This is crazy, but I'm gonna just go with it. And you like start making the craziest decisions. You're like, all right, I have to quit my job because I have this feeling that keeps coming through me and I just can't make it stop. So I think I gotta quit. Like I don't know what's in line for me, or like how I'm gonna get money, but it doesn't align with me anymore. And every time you go to work, it feels so bad. And then you before you know it, you're like telling your husband, I had to quit my job because
I
like
know
hear
it
this
well.
voice in my head and I just won't stop. So
I know that well, Natalie. I know it well. You're preaching to the choir. I got that one for sure. Oh, look, Marta says, I feel like I'm floating when I sat up. So calm and happy. Thank you, Spirit and Natalie. Oh, thank you, Marta. That is sweet. That is really, really sweet. I want to tell you something, Marta. So when I asked her to come, on my YouTube, and you guys know I always joke about how I don't have that many subs yet. And I'm always telling you guys, matter of fact, please click the like button right now, all of you. And so I'm always getting on you guys. I'm always, when I'm seeking people, I'm always trying to be in the mindset of being intentional. Like, okay, Spirit, guide me to the people. Well, sometimes I'm not always guided. I go by who I see the most. And what sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But when I reached out to Natalie, she goes, let me get back with you. Let me check and see if I'm, like supposed to be of service. Boom, bada ding, y'all. You guys, that's what you want to hear. You want to hear somebody say that right there. You don't want somebody to say, well, let me check and see how many subs she has. Let me see how long she's been on. Let me see what her video looks like. She didn't say any of that. She said, let me check and see if I'm supposed to be of service. So when I thanked her, because my platform is so small right now, she goes, oh, it doesn't matter. Like it could have been 5 people. If I'm called to be of service, there's somebody who I'm probably, going to assist. It doesn't have anything to do with how many people it is. So I want you guys to understand her character, you got her energy, you got it already tonight, but this is what you look for in the spiritual community, because it can be so misleading and hard out in this community. And you have to really discern a lot of times. But I'm going to give you guys her information. Her information on the platforms is, well, not all of them, but Instagram. She's Divine Transmissions, at Divine Transmissions. I'm going to put all her stuff in the comment section. So don't you guys worry about it. But I feel like some people are going to be looking you up, because this is what they needed. This is what some people, were being led to, I believe. And you're the one, you're it. That's why I brought her on here, because I know some of you are searching and trying to seek, light code activators. And it's hard out there to just, let me say, it's difficult to sometimes navigate it. So I wanted to bring her to you guys, so you guys would know, okay, she's good. Like, she's someone we can maybe go to, so. Okay, any more questions and comments? Because I'm going to wrap it up with Natalie. I'm just so glad that we had her. Like, we're not going to wear her out, but we may bring her back, you guys, right? Like, if we got a little bit more, we want to move to the next step, and we got some more stuff we want to cover. Hopefully she'll come back.
I already got that message that it's gonna I'm gonna be back.
Yay! And look, Oneness says, I shall reach out. It'll make sense. So, I knew you. Of course you're going to reach out. It's certain people I thought about when I put this together tonight. You were one of them. You were definitely. So I knew you would connect with her easily. Yeah, they'll be reaching out. Do you want to leave us with anything, any final words or anything you want to say to us, Miss Natalie, before I wind this up?
It's just been so beautiful, being able to come here and spend time with everybody and just feel the energy. It's such a great tribe that supports you, and that you support. It's like they say, it's reciprocal. Like you put out and they put out. It's just beautiful. So it's such a good vibe.
I'm trying to, people, you guys see Natalie is the polar opposite of me. I love these people who are so like, have you noticed my last 3 guests, you guys? They're always like, yeah, and and they're so zenned out, and they're so like, and I'm always like this, my energy's on 10 always. And I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna learn to bring it down. Like, and you have no choice with you to kind of bring it down, because you're here, and it feels so good. Your energy feels so good, doesn't it, you guys? Feels really, really good. And we love it. We love it.
You know what? And it has not always been that easy. Like,
really?
Not my energy, but the people I am near. So like my job, my 9-to-5 job was a trauma therapist. I would go into people's houses, and when I would go into people's houses, they would like, I was the last person they called, right? Like, because they would already tried a bunch of different things, and then they're like, I don't know, just you got to call Natalie. She got to come up to your house and figure it out. So then I would go in, and I would always, because it's like deemed a dangerous situation, because the person has experienced trauma and they've had all these workers and nothing's really worked. So they would have me come in. Anyways, they would like, the therapist I would go in with would always ask, like, what is it about you that causes them to just like tell you everything? Like, we've been trying, everybody's been trying. What is it about you? Like, do you know these people? Do you have some kind of secret email that you messaging, like like, do you have a relationship somehow with these people? And I was like, I have no idea. Like, I just go in, sit on their couch, ask them what's wrong, and they tell me what's wrong. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but that's what I do. And they're looking at me like,
but you
we've been doing that.
You're like a truth serum. Like, you are, like, you guys, I was talking to her, getting to know her, and I was like, yeah, sometimes I eat meat, and I know I'm spiritual, a lot of spiritual, like, you just feel like you just got to tell her stuff. You're just like, and then I'm like, why am I telling you this? She's just like a magnet of, give me your truth, like, speak, like, what is it that you are? That's how your frequency is. That's how you're vibrating. That's you. And that's beautiful. I'm just like, look, I'm trying to read these comments out the side, because they're saying magnificence, somebody said they're wearing red too. Oh, I knew what I was working with tonight. I knew I was working with Natalie, so I had to stay grounded, baby. I'm red all the way. My underwear is red. Like I got this dress is everything is red. We got to be grounded when Natalie comes around. You guys keep that in mind for future reference. You see, she's wearing red. Y'all get grounded when you know she's coming on. Everybody wear red. DeMonte says he's been channeling tones lately, but he doesn't know why. Oh,
like,
wait. Wait.
Different tones, like music tones.
I wonder if he means frequencies, different frequencies. Maybe he is. I'm sorry, Jasani, I skipped you. He says, yeah, you make me feel safe. Some people automatically make others feel safe. Yeah, that's her. That's Natalie to the T. Your underwear is red too. Okay, see, you came prepared. You didn't know, but your subconscious knew. Look, your soul and your spirit team knew. They said, get yourself together because you're going to see Natalie. We know.
I always ask when I like have something to do that's like, a thing to do. I like have everything hanging in my cupboard and in my closet, and I'll ask like, all right, what do you need me to wear? Like what's going to be easiest for you? And then I just pick through, like I feel through until I'm like this is the one. I feel the energy is coming off of this one, and I put it on and wear it. So that's how I ended up with red today.
That is perfect. You guys take note. Everything spirit led, everything Natalie does. Let me check. Let me see. Let me feel. Let me. That is the life. That's how you want to walk. You want to walk spirit first, spirit body first. Do that. Get out of this human dense body first. Perfect. You are a wonderful example of that. DeMonte, he's trying to explain to us, like, I'll be writing and it's like in between a note or tone. So you're not listening, you're hearing it audibly, and there's nothing playing. I think that's what you're saying. Like he's hearing frequencies, maybe you're.
That happened to me when they started my healing work. So when they said, okay, Natalie, we're going to bring you people, we're going to start sending people to you and you're going to heal them. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. And they're like, we're going to show you. And I was like, all right. So they're like, hold up your hand. And I had an angel come and walk behind me. And they were like, we're going to guide your hand. So like, feel what this feels like. And I was like, oh, I feel it. And they're like, okay, now use your other hand and do the same. And I'm like, okay, I feel it. I would put my hand right here. And she's like, yes. And she's like, now listen in your head to the tone for the noise, for the pitch. And I was like, what? And then I heard a noise in my head and a noise. Now match that noise. Like everything in you has to hum and match that noise. And then you're going to push that frequency out your hands into this person's body. And I was like, okay. And she would like, when I would do it, then I would switch the noise. I would hear like the air conditioner come on and be like, and start making a noise. And I'm like, it's swish. She's like, okay, follow the noise you hear in your head. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh,
That's neat. He says like a reverb. He was still descriptive.
Yes.
But its frequency, she resonates with her. So yes.
That's the noise.
One that says, I've started drawing symbols, looks like light language, but not sure about what its intention is. I've asked, I guess this is part of the answer. And then Jasani says, wow. Yeah, oneness is going to be reaching out to you. I'm so sure. So sure. I'm positive. Beautiful. I told you guys, I do this for you guys. Like I know who you are, a lot of you, who you are. Some of you are my clients, but I know where you are in your journey and kind of what you need. And if I can't give it to you, or it's not my path, I'm going to find it for you. I'm going to bring it to you. Yeah. So I certain ones of you, and when they watch the replay, a lot of them are going to migrate towards you. So we'll just keep that in mind. They're going to probably come your way. Okay, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up because it's been 1 hour and 10 minutes. Natalie is a mother. And so I want to make sure I don't cut into mommy time or anything because we're grateful that you stay with us because you're on the Eastern Standard Time. So it's getting late, right? Where you are. Yeah. So thank you so much. I am going to say my goodbyes to you, and then I'm going to click you off and then talk to them about next week and so forth. But I think I'm going to be in touch with you because I have a little bit more to talk to you about other stuff that you and I talked about before. So
good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
You.
Whenever you're ready, you want to bring me back, you want another topic to talk about, we got like a whole Walmart full of topics to talk about.
Hey, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. She says she'll come back. Love it. Thank you, because you will be
Awesome.
back.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Well,
Thank
take
you,
care.
Natalie.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, let me, all right. So you guys, did we like that? We liked Natalie, didn't we? Oh, I loved it. And I'm telling you, light language used to be my taboo thing in my journey. Like I knew about it, but my experiences weren't that great with it. So I asked Spirit, I said, look, I know light language isn't a bad thing, but my experiences haven't been the best. I need you to route me someone who, I can connect with on this topic, because I want to move past, my barriers as it relates to this topic. And do you know how I found her? I was actually looking at a newsletter was emailed to me from the Galactic Federation of Light. And she did a whole article on it, on light code activation. And there she was right in front of my face. Not even 24 hours later, when I put out the request to the spiritual realm, they sent her to me. So I knew she was the one. She was the one. Jasani says he's excited to watch the replay. You better watch that replay. You guys click the like button, please. Click that like, click. Magnificence in the essence of perfection. Absolutely. So you guys, look, we're going to come back next week. We don't know who we're going to have. You never know who I might bring up. I don't know. I feel like I'm divinely being led now to these guests that are coming on here, because now we're getting into it, aren't we? We're getting into it. I want to take you beyond where I could take you by myself, and get some more spiritual beings in here to assist with this Mystical Monday. Okay, so you guys just keep coming. Stay with me. I appreciate all of you for your loyalty and your consistency with showing up. For those of you who are watching the replay, please feel free to leave questions and comments below. I answer all of them. Again, I'm going to put Natalie's information in the comment section. I'm going to pin it down there as soon as I get off of this live. And I hope you guys got what you needed tonight, and I hope you feel a little better, because she did some work on all of us inadvertently, and I feel great. I feel good. Initially, I had a little headache, but it subsided. But that was her moving all that energy that I had stored up in the places they didn't need to be stored. So thank you guys again for coming and sharing this night with me. I will see you next week, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, if you're interested in reading more about me and my services, visit my website at www.discoveringyourinnerlight.com. I actually have a promo code that is running now for spiritual coaching sessions. You just have to key in portal 777 portal, and that's the discount code. It'll get you a discount on spiritual coaching sessions. I'll put that in the comments section as well. Okay. All right, you guys, until next week, you guys take care, and